former BLM leader, now says he's voting for Trump in 2024. Okay? That's why he's not getting the invite. And I'm going to tell you the rest. Mark Fisher is on the right, the former senior director for the Black Lives Matter Rhode Island branch. We'll show you. There he is. Hey, Mark. Proudly now voicing his support to make Donald Trump president again in 2024. I think he used the L word. It's more than support. This is love. Love.
You know, this is my favorite story of the day because it identifies with what I've seen in the barbershop. All the brothers, for some reason right now, are turning tides right now. And I just wonder, what is the big reason?
I think personally, it's the duplicity of the Democrats. The hypocrisy. We're not stupid. The brothers are not stupid. We understand when someone's for us and when someone is not. And it's obvious that the Democratic Party is not for us.
You're not saying the entire Republican Party. You're saying Donald Trump. So what is it about Donald Trump? Is it the economics? You noted the black family. What is it going to take for him to shore up this support amongst black voters?
A lot of people are misinformed. They don't really understand because they don't educate themselves on Donald Trump as a person and his history. But if they do that, and it's going to take, leaders, educated leaders, getting the word out there, I think that it'll happen on its own and it'll be organic because personally, I love the man.
Why did you end up leaving Black Lives Matter? Or are you still affiliated with it?
No, I'm still affiliated with it. My message that I preach and that I tout is unity. It's a message of unity. It's unity driven. I want to bring together all the marginalized groups from the margins and bring them to the center because we're stronger together as a one nation under indivisible under God.
I'm trying to remember if I heard Trump utter that sentiment at one of his rallies. I don't think I heard that. But then I didn't stick around to watch all of them. Before we get to yet another example, Fisher was introduced as the co-founder of Black Lives Matter. You heard it there, chapter in Rhode Island, during an interview on Fox and Friends. That was, as you heard, explain why Trump will get his vote in the next election, as well as why he and other voters are steering away from the Democrats. Hey, I don't really have a problem with to a degree, what he uttered about the Democratic Party, who has left many behind and has not fought hard enough for other values, other views that are important in this country, contributing to this country. But the L word freaked me out. What about you? Here we are.
There's a lot going on here. There's a lot to think about whenever you have somebody who was or is, I guess, still affiliated with Black Lives Matter. And now he's saying, people are not educated enough on Trump. And I feel like they are. I feel like it's also insulting to say that people aren't. Is there a shift in the barbershop? I have no idea, right? I'm not in the barbershop, but sometimes people can say something on public platforms, like I think this was on Fox News, and they can kind of intentionally create a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You put doubt in people's minds, you put ideas in people's minds, and that is a very intentional way to present a story. As you mentioned also, the Democrats are not beyond reproach, right? They really need to value their voters more than they seem to have lately. I think right now, a lot of people, Black, brown, whoever, we're all very upset and disappointed with the current administration for a variety of reasons. We feel let down, and the Democrats, they need to fight a little bit harder, They need to fight harder for people's votes. They can't just rely on people being so afraid of another Trump presidency that they just vote for Biden. Yeah. They need to fight a little bit harder, and they need to keep their promises to their constituents, or else we are going to start to see people going the other way. Unfortunately, the only other way that people have to go is all the way to the Republican Party. And I don't think that that's a better option for them. That said, in a lot of different communities, whether that's the Black community, the immigrant community as well, you do see a lot of conservatism within those communities, right? Maybe not politically, but they do align more with, strong family values. They go to church, things like that. So they do hold conservative values, but their party is the liberal party. So sometimes there is a bit of a disconnect there. But again, we have two parties to choose from. So, you kind of have to pick which one is better in alignment with you. I would love to see more parties, but I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon.
Yeah, the lesser of two evils is really what it is. He went further, though, to explain the context of his thoughts, his feelings, his promised vote 3 weeks ago, another interview, this time the Kim Iverson show. Fisher said Black voters have been used and abused by Democrats for too long, stating that they don't value the Black vote.
Do you feel alone in this viewpoint in the world that you're in, being in the BLM movement?
No. I feel like the tide is starting to turn. I feel like a lot of Black people are starting to pivot off of that Democratic plantation for so long. We've been slaves to that party. Actually, we've been mental slaves, afraid to get off of that plantation because, we've been used and abused for so long at that party. They don't value our vote. Their policies are basically racist policies. And I believe it's a racist party that strikes at the heart of the Black family and the nuclear family in general. And I believe Donald Trump he's the opposite. He's going to tell you how it is. He's going to give it to you straight. He's not going to, be a hypocrite and stab you in the back like the Democratic Party loves to do. Trump has done more for the Black community than any president I can think of in my lifetime.
Okay, for the first 12 seconds, I was okay with it. I was largely okay with it. The rest of it, again, it's this thought of where do I belong? Where do I fit in? The lesser of two evils. But let's talk about the numbers, the polling numbers per Atlanta Black Star. September, the Washington Post reported the results of several polls that showed Trump averaging 20% of Black voters, 42% of Hispanic voters, in national favorability compared with the 2020 presidential election, when he took just 8% of the Black vote, 36% of the Hispanic vote. Earlier this month, new polls by the New York Times and Siena College revealed 22% of Black voters in 6 of the most important battleground states said they would support Trump in 2024. About 71% said they would support Biden. These are quite eye-opening revelations, seen as over the past 50 years, Democrats have never earned less than 80% of the Black vote in presidential elections, and no Republican candidate has ever won more than 12%. Business Insider reported Trump on Wednesday welcomed the idea that he'd be supported by the BLM movement. Weren't you holding a Bible upside down and releasing tear gas on a peaceful crowd? I could be, the team will tell me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw that, Mr. Trump. Supported by the BLM movement, a group he's treated as public enemy for years. You see, that was right. Wrote on Truth Social that he had spoken with Fisher. Of course you have. Of course you have. Spoke with Mark Fisher yesterday. Great guy. Very honored to have his support and BLM support. I've done more for Black people than any other president. Lincoln? It's a question mark. Including 10-year funding for historically Black colleges and universities where they had none, opportunity zones, criminal justice reform, and much more. Thank you, Mark. I have to tell you, he's told many lies. There's some truth in there. Okay? The reasons, the motivation, there's some truth in there. Democrats, where are you? Insider notes his response stands in contrast, though, to his past comments about BLM, which he'd criticized even before his presidency and called a, quote, symbol of hate. Black Lives Matter leaders have condemned Fisher's remarks, and Trump, Gary Dantzler, leader of Black Lives Matter Rhode Island, told the Providence Journal that Fisher wasn't a co-founder of the organization, but had worked under it for some months. Mark Fisher stated he was one of the co-founders of BLM. Dantzler told the outlet, absolutely not. He was a respected advocate for BLM. That's it. He was paid, and somewhere he got fired and demoted. Business Insider with the details there. Talk about putting his business in the street. Fisher is listed as the founder of BLM Incorporated, an organization that says it exists to assist the Black Lives Matter movement. You see what they did there? However, the website also said it is not affiliated with any other Black Lives Matter movement. Black Lives Matter Foundation has also condemned Fisher's remarks in a statement at Business Insider. This is a publicity stunt, statement said. Right wing continues to use and amplify fringe Black voices to create an idea of broad support for their corrupt candidates. Statement called Fisher's organization illegitimate, said it had no connection to the wider Black Lives Matter movement, while disputing that Fisher should be called a Black Lives Matter leader. Anyone can start an organization and add the words Black Lives Matter to it in an attempt to muddy the waters. of our movement, as Mark Fisher said. Statement then went on to blast Trump, calling him a, quote, terrorist who committed treason and tried to subvert American democracy, end quote. Then it added, he is no friend of Black people seeking to live in a just society. Other red flags about Fisher per Snopes, where you go to see, is this true? He had expressed support for conservative views before as well, including August 2023, when he called for the January 6 U.S. Capitol rioters. He called them political prisoners, said he stood in solidarity with them. He also spoke out in support of members of the Proud Boys movement who participated in the Capitol riots. He told the Epoch Times, October 23, their lambs led to slaughter to be sacrificed as an example for all who might want to dissent in the future. According to the caption of the YouTube clip for Iverson's November 2023 radio show, Fisher stepped down from his leadership position at the older BLM soon after he began making his opinions about Trump known. Now, Yasmin, I smell a few things here, and they're green, and, money's dirty. You really should touch it very little, okay? I don't even carry cash. It's dirty. But I smell someone who wants to get paid and who will sell a soul and allow his self to be used to confuse, participate in disinformation, probably wants to be relevant too. But I smell the root of money is the evil here. You think I'm wrong?
No, I'm so glad you actually said that, because that is exactly what stood out to me is, he's talking about how Black people are subservient to the Democratic Party and how they're still stuck on this like metaphorical plantation with the Democrats. But in the meantime, he's allowing himself to be used as a token to this white billionaire who does not respect him or Black people, as we have seen time and time and time and time again, right? So what is his actual goal? That's what we have to ask. Maybe he is out there for the money. Maybe he really is looking out for the Black community. But in the clips that we saw, I didn't actually hear him say anything specific as to why the Republican Party is somehow now better than the Democrats are for Black people. I didn't hear him say anything as to why Donald Trump is a good candidate for Black people to be supporting. He didn't really get into a lot of specifics. Maybe he did elsewhere, and I don't know. But, if he was truly looking out for his community, I think what he would be doing instead is trying to hold the Democratic leaders accountable. Democrats have a much more diverse party any way you slice it, right? In terms of gender, race, religion, age, everything, right? The Democrats are definitely the more diverse party. They're the ones who are going to look out for the most different types of people. They've been dropping the ball lately, right? And I think that is a very valid criticism. And if he has those criticisms, he should be talking about that. He should be raising those criticisms. I think we do that here on this channel, right? That's what you need to be doing if you're actually looking out for your people. Hold your leaders accountable. And if you don't like them, say, look, we're going to primary you. We're going to vote you out. Do something. You have other options besides jumping over to Donald Trump.
Yeah. This whole thing, this is my opinion, okay, we'll label it as that, was not an accident, okay? This was orchestrated by those in the Trump orbit. Suddenly, the former president is this truth socialing about him, okay? Somewhere I smell Bannon, I smell his cologne, okay? This was all a setup. Oh, now he's, Fox News. It's just so funny how everyone just picked it up. I'm telling you, as a broadcaster my entire career, we're a little lazy. Okay, we're late to the party. We are mass thinkers, okay? So this whole thing was no accident, but we'll continue to follow it wherever it goes. You know where it's going.